All right, I'm trying this again. Anyway, it's funny how I was saying how I've been fighting this, making videos, coming up with excuses all the time. And just as I started to talk about that, well, my cat came down from God knows where. It's been asleep all damn day. But just as I'm talking about that, it starts meowing and crying and stops my video, throws me off track. And you could say, well, that was a coincidence, but I honestly don't believe that that was a coincidence. I actually think that my subconscious, unconscious mind created that exact scenario to throw me off of making a video. And in fact, as I was just getting my cat taken care of, I got a call out of the blue from a friend who wanted to talk, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, it's all just like, um, out of all the times in which these things could have happened, it was right exactly when I was trying to do a video. It wasn't, it wasn't earlier in the day when I had lots of time and nobody bothering me. It was like right now. So I find that interesting. I think it's not a coincidence. I think it is me just trying to resist this stuff. But there's been things I've been wanting to talk about since like January of 2017, like over a year ago, and stuff that things about twin flames, things about the spiritual journey, all that kind of stuff. That had I actually talked about them back then, very few people were kind of discussing the things that I wanted to talk about. Like for example, back during that time, I was watching a lot of twin flame videos, and the people who were doing all of these, twin flame readings, they were always talking about the divine feminine as her and the divine masculine as him. And it was bugging the fuck out of me because it's not really about a him or a her, right? It's about masculine and feminine energies, which have nothing to do with sex. And when I say sex, I'm not talking about the sexual act. I'm talking about biology. Like, are you a male or a female? Because that's what the word sex actually means. It's like the word sex is, are you a male sex or female sex? Do you have two X chromosomes or an X and a Y chromosome? And most people confuse that, and they use the term gender. Gender is not the right word for that, right? Gender is, how do you self-identify? Your gender is what you think you are. So that's why we have words like transgender, right? A transgender person is someone who is in a male's body but feels that they are a female. Or the reverse is, they're in a female body but they feel that they are a male, right? So their gender is what you feel you are, what you think you are, how you identify, right? And then there's masculine and feminine, which describes personality traits, right? So there's masculine personality traits, feminine personality traits. Everyone has a mixture of the two. However, generally, one is stronger than the other. So you might have a masculine personality, or you might have a feminine personality. And this is really where the masculine and feminine energies come in, right? So for myself, my sex is male, my gender is male, my personality is, although it's close, it's feminine. It's more feminine than masculine. I actually took a personality test when I was studying human sexuality as part of my psychology classes, and it was interesting because you have masculine and feminine, and for each one of those two traits, it can be it's kind of a sliding scale. So you can be high on one and low on the other. You can be middle on both. You can be high on both. You can be low on both. generally, if you're considered equal or near equal on both, you're androgynous. So, whereas one person, if they have high on the masculine and lower on the feminine, they're considered masculine personality type. If it's reversed, they're considered a feminine personality type. And if it's in the middle, wherever that is, it's generally considered androgynous, except if they're both extremely low. There's another term for that. It's not androgynous, but basically it's kind of like you don't have a personality, like you got some serious problems. Milk toast, that kind of thing. So that's where the masculine and feminine really comes in. It's all about your personality type. Has nothing to do with the sex of your physical body. Has nothing to do with gender. It's personality type. And then to make things even more complex, there's sexual orientation. Right? So sexual orientation is taken from the position of your biological physical type, right? So based on your biological physical type, your sexual orientation is either heterosexual, meaning you are sexually attracted to the opposite physical type from you, or homosexual, meaning you are attracted to the same physical type as you, right? So again, it has nothing to do with your gender or your personality type. It has to do with your biological sex and based on that, your sexual orientation, like who you're attracted to. Same sex or opposite sex, basically. So really wanted to put that out over a year ago. Didn't do it. Again, scared of judgment, whatever. Excuse. Just a simple little talk like that. Could have put it out. Because for me, the twin flame journey isn't about this massive romantic storyline. And it took me a while to really figure out, kind of all the details of what I was feeling about that. But I just knew that because I had a more feminine, I was carrying more of the feminine energy. Every time the twin flame readers were talking about, the masculine, he's been treated like this in society, or the feminine, she's been treated like this in society, it was just completely false. I won't say disingenuous, because I think that they're not disingenuous when they say that. They're just mistaken. They just don't understand what they're talking about, because they're not talking about men and women. They shouldn't be talking about men and women, because the twin flame energies aren't about men and women. They're not about your sexual body type. It's about the energies that you carry. It's about the feminine personality traits. It's about the masculine personality traits. And since we all carry these, anybody can be a feminine, anybody can be a masculine. It doesn't matter, right? It really matters more to do with how you process things internally, and how you use that processing type to interact with the rest of the world. So that's kind of where you're going to fall on that scale, whether you're really holding more of the feminine energies or the masculine energies, right? And so it's not about guys and gals. Nothing to do with that, right? It's about you getting clear on who you are internally, how you're interacting with yourself internally, how you're interacting with the rest of the world, and figuring out where you need to heal, and knowing more about how you interact with the world, well, internally and externally, is going to give you a clearer idea of where your shadow parts are, like where you need to go to heal, the things that you need to face. And we call it the shadow because it's hard to see. It's behind you. And so that's why this reflecting back to you is so important, because it helps you figure out the things that you can't see on your own. Right? It's not a fucking romance novel, right? Once you get to the point where you've healed yourself, it could turn into a romance novel, but that's not the point. And that's actually a different topic. But all of these topics that I've been wanting to talk about, these are things that I was thinking about long before anybody else started talking about it. And now everybody's talking about it, and it fucking pisses me off. It's like, I'm so upset. Am I upset that, like, I didn't talk about it first? No. Am I upset that, like, everybody else is talking about it now and they beat me to the punch or whatever? No, not really. What I'm really upset about is that I didn't trust myself enough to talk about this before everybody else was talking about it. That's what it really comes down to. Now that everybody else is talking about it, it's safe. It's safe to talk about it. Oh, I can talk about this, and I don't have to put myself out on a limb. I don't have to, like, be saying something that maybe is contradictory to what everybody else is talking about, or maybe nobody else has thought of, or is flies in the face of where everybody's at mentally and emotionally on a topic, right? But now that everybody is talking about it, it's totally safe and I can do it. And so what it really comes down to is I'm pissed off that I just didn't trust myself to talk about this when nobody else was talking about it. So that's basically it for this video, is just me saying, okay, I'm going to come back. I don't care if nobody watches these videos. I'm going to get on here. I'm going to speak my truth, talk about the things that I want to talk about, and just hope that if anybody is coming on to watch this, that the message you get is trust yourself. Trust yourself. Be your truth. Speak your truth. You are on this planet for a reason. The thoughts that you have them for a reason. You have them, and you need to speak them. You need to act them. You need to be them, right? And don't be fearful that other people are going to judge you poorly for it. Some people might, but who cares? There's going to be, people that are going to love what you're saying. Just trust yourself. Trust yourself and do it. And you will feel so much better, right? Because that's ultimately where the healing is. The healing is everyone learning how to be their authentic self, right? This isn't something that other people haven't said a million times over, which is great, because the more people get the word out that the meaning of life is to be your authentic self, then the happier that the world will be. So I hope this finds you well. I hope you're doing well. Please feel free to comment on my videos. I've said that, I think in my first video, that I'm very open to people commenting on my videos. I'm not going to take offense at it. Actually enjoy talking about things like this. It's what I love. I have a degree in philosophy and psychology and anthropology. I love this kind of shit. So I hope you're doing well. Comment if you like. Give it a like if you like. Share it if you like. Be well. Take care. See you soon.